I'm live. Okay, get back to the thing where I see my camera. Okay. There. We have goat camera now. Hello. I have the goods. I'm just going to go ahead and start showing and telling. I dyed 10 skeins of yarn on Thursday, I think. Yeah, that was when I was like, check out my blue hands. My arm's still blue. And I realized that most of the I have to minimize the number of colors that I'm using at one time so that I'm not super overwhelmed in one dye session. But next time I'm planning to work on more of the red type colorways, so I'll be doing more of the red and black that I have, and I know that one was popular, and I have this whole can of yellow dye that I haven't gotten into yet, so I'm just gonna open that and see what I can do with it. This is I think this might be one of the new colorways I was trying to come up with, and I think it looks more blue on the camera, but it has a slight bit of green in here, and I'm gonna have to add way more green to get the effect I was looking for, but I was trying to do sort of a green, black, and blue type of colorway that I'm going to call Lover of the Sea. And I think if I can tell the difference between this and the Vault of Inanna, just like blue colorway, then I will go ahead and put those in their own separate collection, because I'm, instead of colorways at first, I'm doing collections that are kind of me exploring a color theme, and then at some point I might crystallize them into actual colors, but or like more standardized ones. Yeah, this is what it looks like in a hank. I think I've gotten a bit better at making the hanks. I especially love when they have different colors at different ends, so it's a very nice like twist of different colors. This one's still a bit damp though, so I'll have to continue hanging it up to dry after this. I think this is one of the. I think this is the first one I did where I was trying to figure out what I did last time, and one of my problems. I mean, it turned out great, but like one of my problems was there was so much. Oh, that's cool. Sorry, got got distracted by the fact that there are tiny red or purple speckles, which I was not expecting. Oh yeah, there's one. Can I cover my face? There, right there. And another one's right there. So yeah, that's cool. I think So yeah, this is either one of the one-offs I did to just like use up the rest of the dye, or maybe the first one where I was trying to not so much remember what colors I have, but like which pots of dye they're in, because that like blues and blacks, when they're in the tiny, like the concentrated amounts, they all look the same. So I'm gonna have to get a better system of labeling them. And also I was like, okay, so how did I actually get the effects that I did last time? And I figured out that it, in the case of the extremely light blue end, it's just a very small amount of dye. So just like dropped a few drops in, and then put water on the yarn, and like worked that in, and then if I needed more dye, I would add more. But it's very helpful to have my large syringes that I got for dyeing, and I need more of them. But like I can draw up a large amount of just plain water, and then a tiny amount of the concentrated dye, and then just like inject it onto or into the yarn. And if you happen to be watching, or like either live or after the live, let me know in the chat or the comments what you're working on, or like how your day is going. If you have any thoughts on the colorways. I think this one's also one of the one-offs I did at the end, and I see more of the purple speckling, which is cool. I don't know if you can see it, but like I think that's either leftover red dye from something, or it could just be oh yeah, here it is. Where is it? It should be right around there, but I don't think it's showing up. Anyway, it could either be leftover red dye, or the black dye actually has a surprising amount of purple in it. I was noticing when I rinsed out the yarn, because I rinse it in the dye pan and then put it in the washer, but I feel like it's probably a good idea to not have it absolutely soaking with extra dye when I put it in the wash. I don't know if it makes a huge difference, but it makes me feel better about it. But yeah, I tend to notice there's once you get the black dye out, like at first the excess dye is just like dark, because there's a lot of it, and it tends to be a very intense dye. But when you do a second and third rinse, and it starts to get a bit more diluted, then the water actually turns purple, which is cool. Ooh, I think this probably is one of the one-offs that I did to finish off some of the dye I had left over, because I think I'm just gonna start fresh next time, and I did have some dye saved, but I was like, I just need to start fresh from and actually have a system in place to make sure I know which dye is which. So I'm gonna get Scotch tape and Sharpie, hopefully from the dollar store when I go. So that's one of the things I'm planning to get. Also, like cardstock, because I'm planning to use that as labels for my yarn. So I'm going to print three labels on one sheet and then just cut them out. Eventually I will hopefully have a label maker or something like that, but I'm like, well, I'm just starting. I need to not be too fancy. But yeah, I was thinking this, I think this is like blue and black. I have two different types of blue, so I'm not sure which, looks like there's at least some of the deep space color, which is the deep blue, and probably some electric blue as well. But I think I'm going to call this one Dusk. Besides looking like that time of day, it's kind of a personal name because I used to go by Dusk as one of my chosen names, so that's fun. But yeah, it's kind of cool how this one is just like, there's a lot of variation over the whole skein. You might be able to tell I'm struggling a bit with like there are parts of the I think I've gotten most of the loose bits out now, but like there sometimes most of the with this yarn, sometimes but the bulk of the yarn in my hand is straightened out, but there's like a couple of bits that are just like loose and they've twisted up, so it doesn't cause tangles really, it just makes it look less smooth and nice. So like if this is loose, then it just kind of twists up and then that part pokes out, so I'm trying to get it to lie flat. But I'm learning how to deal with this yarn. This is a bamboo base, so there's not a lot of info about how to dye plant fibers, so I figure, well, I'm just gonna have to learn by doing to some extent. I did find some useful info on Dharma Trading Co., the website. They have a tutorial on how to dye plant fibers, and that's what I've been mostly using. Then of course the channel Chem Knits tutorials, Chem like chemical, not Kimberly, CHEM knits. I think she mostly dyes protein fibers, so like wool and stuff, but it's been helpful to watch her too. To hydrate with my seltzer water. You can probably see that this one has a lot of the loose bits that are kind of not laying flat, so I'm going to try to like gently tug on the fibers to get them to straighten out. But this is one of my Vault of Vault of Vault of Vault of Inanna blue gradient or ombre colorways. Ombre. Not quite sure what the word is, but I did figure out how to recreate this one, which is good because I love this colorway so much, especially like all of the blues up in here. That's a gorgeous skein, if I do say so myself. These aren't quite dry, so I'm gonna have to let them hang a bit more, but they look so cool all skeined up with all the different shades of blue in the different parts. I washed them in the washing machine, oddly enough. Which is the only time I recommend putting these through the washing machine. Just like, I had it on hand wash, and I was following the instructions of the special dye detergent that catches any loose dye on things. That I got it from Dharma. But they say to actually put things in the washing machine when you use that. So I did. I put them in the mesh bags and put it on the hand wash cycle, and it was fine. But yeah, I did that on Friday, and it's now Sunday, so I've been letting them hang to dry since then. And they weren't soaking when they came out of the washer, but like, I guess it takes a while for the water to leave all the nooks and crannies. Ooh, yeah. I'm encouraged to see that I can actually tell the difference between this and the Vault of Inanna colorway. It's not as green as I was expecting, which probably makes sense because there's the green I was using is very pale, so but I was using a lot of green and black, lots of blue too, but this is more of the ocean inspired colorway. I was actually trying to make another, like a space themed colorway with pale green and blue at one end and then black at the other end, but I realized it looks the same as the other blue colorway I was doing, so I was like, okay, so what do I do? Maybe add more green? Then I realized it didn't really look like space anymore, but it did look like the ocean color that I was thinking of doing. So I changed plans. I think I do need like a white and or a gray color. And like if I have a white, then, and like I can't really just use the natural color of the yarn because it's off-white. So if I want more of a cool white, I would have to add it on. But this is more of a warm white. Oh, I think this is also the ocean themed color. Just a tiny bit of green up here. And then more of the black, I think. I realize it looks like dark blue, but I think I added more black on it. Whereas on the blue colorway, I didn't actually have any of the black dye that I added on, so it was just shades of blue and a tiny bit of green mixed into one of the blues. Since that's my only like pale color, the seafoam green, so I mixed it into the light blue and just like, so that's what's on the pale end of the skein. This is one of my favorites. It's actually more green than you can see on the camera. Going to learn how to properly show colors in my with this camera, because I definitely want to show the actual color when I'm taking pictures for my website. But this is just one of the one-offs that I did at the end, and it has these beautiful shades of green and like dark teal. And this is the most green because with this one I just dumped the rest of the green that I had mixed up on this half of the yarn. And I think I'm going to have to make it an actual skein, because like an actual colorway. It was just going to be a one-off, but well, really any of my one-offs have the potential to be things that I do more of, whether I like them or people that see them want more of them. Oh yeah, and I thought of a really cool pun for the name of this one. Of course, it looks very mermaidy, and I was thinking I kind of want to name it after one of my ancestor guides who has a who kind of gives me a mermaid vibe at times. So I was trying to think of like, okay, how can I put that into a name, and I decided on maid, as in you are, like the original. So that is this one. One more of the skeins. I actually have a crochet project that I brought up here, but I wasn't sure how long we would be talking about yarn. I mean, my dyed yarn. Yep, and this is more of the blue colorway. I love these super pale icy blues. But I have to be careful when I'm dyeing the yarn, because you get this blue by just putting a tiny amount of dye on the yarn, so you kind of have to watch it carefully. It looks like a stack of twisted pastries or something, except it's blue. Let me know if you want to see any of them again, or if you have questions about them. I still have 10 more undyed skeins sitting in my room. I don't think I'll dye 10 at one time in the future. That was a lot. But next time I'm planning to dye more of the red. So the red with the black at one end, and then I have another red-based colorway in mind, like maybe some red, orange, and gold, because I have an entire container of yellow dye from Dharma that I haven't opened yet, so I feel like I want to open that and see how it goes. But in the meantime, I've been working on my website, and I added a bunch of the just like decorative pictures. Before I add the actual product pictures and stats, like what kind of yarn is this, what's the price, and all of that, I want to make sure that I know how to take pictures that will show the actual color, because especially with the greens and the reds, it's really hard to make it pick up. But I did get some advice from my friend slash brother Brian, who works in photography and filmmaking, on how to work with my camera to get a better color reading. So I will be trying out that advice soon. Besides dyeing yarn, I have also been working on this. And I'm almost done with this half of my housemate's poncho. I'm just going to continue doing this border thing until I run out of yarn.
And if that happens in the middle of a row, I'll just frog back to the start of that row, and that'll be the edge. Then any yarn that I have left over, I'm just going to use to sew up the basically shoulder seams, because this is going to be attached to a second one of these, and there will be a neck hole for my housemate's head, but the sides will be this one will be sewn to the top edge of the second one. Let me know if y'all have any projects that you're doing right now or excited about. While I'm here, I'm going to do another row of this one. It has felt like a really long project, so it's exciting to see that I'm finally nearing the end, at least of the first half. Oh, hi, Amaris. I am good. How are you? Well, glad to have you here. Yeah, I was just showing my yarn that I dyed last week. I'm glad glad that you're good. I know that people like to sleep in on weekends. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with how they turned out. Like, I'm having a hard time getting the camera to pick up the green. Like, it's more of a yellowish green here and then a teal here, but like, I love this one. And I think this is one of the new colorways I was trying out. And I think I was just recreating the blue color that I had before. Oh yeah. Came home from your in-laws with the hubby around 10 a.m. and just now waking up from your nap. I'm a big fan of naps, so I'm glad that you had one. I think this is one of the ones that I dyed when I was just like, I'm just going to use up the rest of my dye on the last 3 skeins. So this is dark blue and black.
and I think I'm going to call it Dusk. And there's kind of some green in here, it looks like, too. Just having fun showing off my yarn. Oh, which one? This one? Or a different one? I figure I'm going to have lots of people who like the dark colorway, so I'm gonna stock up on black dye. Yeah, nice. Especially since I want to be known as the person who not that I have to be the only person, but like I'm someone who will have spooky goth yarn all year round. So to start with, I've been doing kind of some pagan inspired ones, but I definitely want to make sure I have spooky yarn too. But I have so many different colorways that I kind of want to do, but I have to like not go too fast at first, because I have to make time to dye the yarn and actually get the dye and the yarn. So, but I am happy with how it's going so far. Just have to wait for my housemate to get more propane for the grill, because it ran out. And luckily I was able to finish dyeing my yarn, since I don't need the water to be hot for the whole time. That's the nice thing about plant fibers. It's they take what's called either fiber reactive or cold water reactive dye. Here's one that I think has some very faint green, which you can't really see, but it is there. I think there's more of the black in with the blue here. But having the hot water at first just like helps to dissolve the soda ash, which prepares the yarn so that it will actually take the dye. Ooh, you might be doing a craft show next month. It's your city small craft show. Cool. What kind of crafts are you doing? I hope to start doing some too, especially since I have wares now. Look, check out my wares. Ooh, I just noticed this one has this nice stripe of like purpley black, which you can really see with the way that it's twisted into a skein. This one has a lot of purple in it too. Like the the black I'm using, it's called Raven, which is a cool name, and it's from Dharma. It has so much purple in it, which is cool. Oh, you'll be selling project bags. Yeah, I know the crafters always need project bags, so I hope that you'll make lots of sales. Like, I'm constantly looking for more bags for my different widths. Not sure if you saw, but I am almost done with this too. Just going to continue doing the kind of border at the top until I run out of yarn, and then this side of the poncho will be done. Though I figured out I've been doing this pattern by memory, and I think I somehow got it in my head that one of the rows was one of the parts had an extra stitch, so that's the way I've been doing it, and that actually creates an extra line when you're that creates a whole extra row when you're decreasing the top of the skull, and it looks fine, but I'm like, so I think I just accidentally rewrote the pattern without realizing it. Oh well. I don't think my roommate will mind, or even notice probably, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing, if I should do the second side the same way, or the way that the pattern is actually written, because I kind of want it to be the same size as this, but I also don't know if I started doing that from the beginning or at some point. Like, I could count, but maybe I'll do that after I finish this one. But I am excited to be almost done with this side of it. Waiting for the last of the fabric to come in today so you can run the wash at one time. Yeah. All dark color quilter's fabric with random prints I picked out. Ooh, cool. Yeah, I totally get that with like strategically waiting to only run the washer once. I actually did all of these in one load when I put them in the wash in the mesh bags, and I was hoping that the special dye detergent would keep the colors from bleeding, and it did. But the first time, with the very first batch of yarn that I dyed, I had to do them one at a time because I only had one mesh bag that I brought from my parents' house. Then I went and bought a whole bunch. So now I have oops. Sorry about that. Suddenly lost the connection. Cool. So it sounds like it's going to arrive soon then. Be sure to tag me on Instagram if you post pictures of your bags. I think I actually picked up like one strand from a different stitch. Okay. Well, I think that for right now I'm gonna end it here, but thanks for coming and hanging out. Awesome. Yeah, I will be happy to see your bags. But I'm not drinking coffee right now, but I drank 2 mugs this morning, and it goes right through me, so I have to go take care of that. So yeah. It's time to goat in more ways than one. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. See you hopefully Thursday. Not next Sunday because I'll be doing a different thing at this time, but most Sundays, and I'll also keep you posted on the yarn adventures and when I get my website up. So go.